Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going over resumes, specifically for those of you who have graduated from WGU. Um, I specifically graduated from the software development, now known as software engineering major. For those of you who graduated from other IT majors or the computer science major from WGU, this video should still be helpful for you as well. So yeah, let's get right into it. So for the first thing that I want to go over in the very beginning of creating a solid resume that's going to get noticed by employers, you're going to want to start off with a good template. So for templates, I found this really good resource that I've used, which has helped me get noticed by some employers, even in a time right now where it's really hard to get noticed, even after submitting hundreds of applications. The resource that I use is called Resume Worded, which is what you can see on the screen right now, and they have multiple different templates depending on your needs. However, I just use the entry level software engineer resume sample as kind of like a springboard, and you can just download this as a PDF, or even just use it for inspiration. You don't have to exactly copy it, in the specific order of sections that they have, but just keep in mind that this resume has been optimized for the applicant tracking system (ATS). If you've heard of that, it's kind of what organizes your resume to the top of the stack in the software that recruiters use when reviewing resumes that they're going to pass over to the hiring manager. So if you want your resume to have a better chance of getting noticed, then you want to make one that's optimized for the applicant tracking system. And the cool, rather unique thing about Resume Worded is that they have a ranking system that's free for like the first 6 uses. I just want to make it clear, I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just found their resource helpful. But they have this free tool that you can use where you upload your resume and then it scores it for you out of 100. So like when I started, I had like a 20 out of 100, and then I worked it up closer to 80 or 90 in terms of my of how optimized it is for the ATS tracking. So I would say that that's a helpful tool. I think I definitely started noticing a little bit of a difference in terms of me getting invited for interviews, or at least making it past the screening phase where they invite you to do a little coding exercise. And I've been searching for jobs since the end of February, so I've kind of had a little bit of time to see what has what has worked at least a little bit, and what definitely hasn't worked. And I do want to bring up that I don't think that writing resumes that have all the fancy aesthetics and kind of features. I don't know if you use color or put your like a little picture on it of yourself. I don't think those are necessarily better. I used one of those types of resumes in the beginning of my job search, and I got no bites at all. So I would definitely recommend going with something more simple. I've done a lot of research, a lot of reading from professionals and recruiters on LinkedIn pages that I follow, and just online through independent research, that there's kind of a consensus that writing more of a straightforward, simple resume like the one that's in front of us is going to be more beneficial for your job search, specifically for this industry and for the software engineering role. So, anyways, after you've discovered a template that you like and you want to use, let's go to let's go to deciding what you're going to put on your resume. So I'm going to pull up one of the resumes that I've made, and this is like my actual experience and what I'm using to apply to jobs right now. So obviously the name isn't right and stuff, but I didn't want to just put my contact information on here. So I put my education at the top since I'm entry level, right? So I graduated from Western Governors University with a bachelor's degree in software development. And so this is for an entry level role. I'm going to show you resume that's just slightly different from this, and includes my my Georgia Tech experience. But I didn't. Made the decision to not include my Georgia Tech um, in my resume because I'm going to be starting there in fall of 2023, and I don't want to put that on my resume for an entry level position that's full time, because I don't want employers to immediately dismiss me as someone who should be looking for an internship instead of a full time entry level position. So, I intentionally left that out. So, for the relevant experience, I'm currently an intern at this nonprofit called Teamwork. And so I just started there, and I kind of put what I'm going to be doing and what I'm currently doing in two concise bullet points, which I use ChatGPT to help me kind of revise and optimize a little bit. I suggest that you do the same. I also did a little bit of freelance web development slash design. It was more design heavy than development heavy, if we're being honest. I used a lot of WordPress, graphical editors, that sort of thing. Although I did use custom JavaScript and HTML, CSS, I still included that, because I worked on a few projects. So I wanted to put that in there because I still think that even though maybe it's not the technical experience that employers are looking for, it is experience, and it does demonstrate that I have soft skills like communicating with stakeholders and that sort of thing. So if you do have freelance experience, I would recommend putting it on there. All right, and then moving on to the university projects. So I only am including two university projects that I did in WGU because of the limited amount of space on my resume. Um, and that's because I'm putting a little section for my YouTube channel. Otherwise, I would put three on there if you have the space. I don't know if I'd do more than three or four, because then that's kind of a lot to put on there. And you want the resume to be concise and brief, easy to read. However, I put my capstone project, and then I put my Java 2 project. So for those of you who are in the WGU software engineering slash development program, you'll know what I'm talking about, right? They want you to put, the reason that they have you do these classes, and or the reason that they have you do the projects in these classes is so that you can use them as portfolio projects to show to your prospective employers. And they even state that in the instructions for the projects, at least when I was a part of the program. So I would definitely recommend putting those on your resume. And then for those of you who don't know which one to choose to put on your resume, there's multiple ideas that you can, or multiple projects that you can use, right? So there's the mobile application. If you did the mobile development class, I feel like the mobile application project is sufficiently complex to put onto your resume, especially if you're going for any sort of mobile development position. Then it's something that's definitely good. Your capstone, that's supposed to be your most comprehensive project, so I would recommend putting that on there. And then Java 1, yeah, it's not as complex, but say maybe you're applying for internships and you haven't done the Java 2 class yet, then yeah, that's something that you could still put on there. I would definitely put the Java 2 project over the Java 1 project because it's it has a database, it's more complex, it's a bigger program, it took more effort, and it shows more technical knowledge. So I would definitely recommend putting that on there. Then you can also throw in from I think it was the data structures and algorithms class, or the scripting fundamentals class, where you created the C++ command line interface application. And if you want to demonstrate that you know C++, then you're going to want to put that on your resume. And then honestly, any of your own projects that you're going to you can put those on your resume too, as long as it's something that's sufficiently complex. And I would just take a note that really what projects you put on your resume depends on the type of job that you're applying for, right? So I wouldn't just make one resume and then use it for every single job that you apply for. That's why this resume isn't typically the one that I use for every single job. I mean, I've used this resume, yeah, don't get me wrong, because it's kind of a more generic one, but for each job application, at least the ones that you want to be taken seriously with, you want to tweak and revise those a little bit to match all of the keywords that are in the job description. Because the recruiters that are going to be looking over your resume and passing it on to the hiring manager, those people are going to be looking for keywords. And even if a couple keywords are missing, there's still other applicants there that have all the keywords, and that might be a little bit more preferable in their eyes to pass them along to the hiring manager to interview instead of you, even if you're a more qualified candidate in the reality of things. So I would recommend putting all of the keywords that are in the job description in your resume somehow, and then if there's a project that suits the job description more that's not on your resume, then replace it with one that's less relevant. And I would be doing that for every job application that you submit. And you could even make like you could store it in different folders, different resumes for different kind of jobs. If you're looking for a Java developer job, then those are all going to be pretty similar. So you can have one resume for that, or if you're looking for a C# developer job, then so on and so forth. So that kind of covers the project section, and then for the activity section, right? So there's going to be a lot of people applying, especially in today's market where it's very competitive. There's going to be a lot of people applying, and so you want to make yourself stand out. You want to make yourself unique. And going to WGU, I didn't really have like clubs that I was a part of or internships or really things that made me set apart, academic awards. I didn't really have anything like that. So in my eyes, the best option for me was to start a YouTube channel and try to grow that and try to make that kind of an achievement slash activity of mine that I could put on my resume to help me get a job. And that wasn't the only reason I started a YouTube channel. I like helping other people. I like being a part of the community. So that was just another reason. So it's just kind of a win-win for me. But I wanted to put that on my resume because I felt that it was relevant to the jobs that I'm applying for. And I think that if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel, you should definitely go for it. There's no harm, there's nothing to lose by starting one. So I would definitely, if you have a YouTube channel, then yes, you should be putting that on there. But only if it's, of course, if it's relevant to computer science concepts. I wouldn't be putting a YouTube channel with stuff that's not relevant to your career, especially things that aren't professional. So you want to be careful there. But that kind of just goes without saying. If you're not interested in starting a YouTube channel, there's definitely tons of other things that can set you apart. So some ideas that I kind of jotted down were WGU has a honors society that you can join. It's called like National Honors Society or something for success. They have it on their website. I would definitely recommend looking into that. Just be aware that you have to pay like I don't know, it's like $50 or something. It's not too expensive, but it's like an entry fee to be a part of that society. But that's going to be something that kind of distinguishes you a little bit and makes you look good. So there's no harm in doing that if you're looking for ways to fill your resume. And then I didn't realize this other thing until I actually already had graduated from WGU, but they do recognitions for good work, for good performance assessments. So I would reach out to your program mentor about that and ask what it takes to get one of those, because if you like put a university project and then under in your description for your impact, you say that you got recognized for the good work that you did in that project, then that's something that an employer is going to like to see. So that's definitely something that I would recommend reaching out for if you're an active student in the program. For activities, another thing that you can put is coding competitions or hackathons. Off the top of my head, there's leak code competitions that you can do. So if you've been practicing your leak codes and you feel pretty strong, then I would recommend putting if you placed well in a leak code competition, you could put that on your resume. And like I said earlier with the other things, there's really no harm in trying that. If you don't rank well, I wouldn't recommend posting it on or putting it on your resume, of course, but there's no harm in trying. And then another idea is clubs. So it's kind of hard to find clubs. I didn't really see any with WGU that you can join, at least not for the software development majors. But they do have regional clubs that aren't affiliated with WGU that you can join, and you can put those on your resume. So I would recommend kind of doing some independent research on that and seeing if there's something that you can join, or maybe some sort of volunteer opportunity, helping little kids learn code or something like that. That's going to look good. That's going to set you apart. And then the final thing that I could think of would be to put any events or conferences that you went to that are related to coding and software development. That's going to show that you have an active interest and passion in software development, and that's going to do nothing but help you in your job search. So that's just another idea that you can put down there. And I also want to just say in general, if you don't have any work experience that's related to coding, that's going to be an issue with a lot of you guys because you were maybe working another job that's outside of the industry in construction or restaurants, some sort of blue collar job, or maybe you were in a different industry in healthcare or something like that, and you wanted to get into coding, so you decided to go to WGU because it has that flexible work life balance, and you're looking to switch your career. So yeah, you don't have any relevant experience. Um, what I've heard from some mentors and some other people is that it's important to show that you have work experience, especially if it's professional experience in like an office environment. That's important to show because it kind of shows like a maturity and a professionalism and also soft skills, which are definitely underrated. So I think it's important that you put it on your resume, even if it's not relevant. I mean, you don't have to put like three non-relevant jobs, but if you have like a couple years of experience, for me, it was in the restaurant industry. Since I already have experience that's related to the job, I'm not going to put that on there because I don't need to, and it'd just be a waste of space for me. But in the case that you don't have relevant experience, then maybe put that a little bit further down your resume. Maybe in this case towards like the skills section, so it's not like on the top of your resume, so people aren't like, oh wow, he worked in a restaurant, but at least you show that you have work ethic, and you've worked in an environment before, and you're not just uh, sitting around doing nothing. So I think it does more good than it does harm. And then you want to set up your skills section, right? So for skills, I kind of broke it down to make it easier to read, right? So I did languages, frameworks, libraries, databases, tools, and then I did some concepts as well. You don't have to have all of this if you don't think that it's necessary, but I would definitely put languages and frameworks, and then just list the languages. I put the ones that I'm like most proficient in first. You don't have to do that. It's just an idea that I had. And then in additional, I put languages. I can speak Spanish, so I put that in there as well. And then I put my certifications and my so I just put certifications and training. It's really just the certifications that I got in the program. Don't forget to put these in, guys, because any WGU major, you're going to have certifications that you get from the program. So those are important to put in. You get those for a reason. So I would definitely recommend putting them in. And then you're going to want to put soft skills as well. I mean, you could put soft skills under the skills section, but I feel like it was kind of confusing. That's why I didn't do it, because it's kind of like it's not my technical skills, so I just put it under additional instead. And I really just put down the skills that I think would be that I've kind of learned at other jobs that that I do honestly have, but the ones that I think that would be most relevant to software engineering. So of course there's communication and collaboration, because that's going to be an important part of working in a software engineering team. Problem solving, attention to detail. I put cultural competency because that's something that a lot of tech companies are looking for. A lot of tech companies are more on the progressive side, and they want you to be able to embrace diversity and kind of work with anybody regardless of their background, their culture, or political ideologies and beliefs. So that's something that you want to be able to acknowledge and say that that's something that you um, are aware of, and well situated to work with. So I'll show you guys my intern resume, and really the only thing that's different is that I put the Georgia Institute of Technology with my expected graduation date in May of 2025. And so the reason that I call this my internship resume is because in order to be eligible for most internships, you need to you need to be enrolled actively in a degree program. So even if I just graduated, then I'd get like automatically disqualified from applying to internships. So saying that I'm going to Georgia Tech is really helpful for applying to internship positions, even though the internship positions that I'm able to apply for are for start dates that are 6 months or a year out, because a lot of the internship positions that are starting, this summer or in the fall of 2023, their application deadlines have already passed, so it's too late for that. And um, so to kind of just add on top of this, if you're going to be looking for work experience and you're not feeling too good about your resume, um, I would recommend trying to do some freelance stuff. Trying to get your feet a little bit wet. You can do that by just reaching out to friends or families or local businesses. If you have any friends or family that own local businesses, even better, because chances are that they're using a WordPress website hosted by like GoDaddy or something to host their website. So it's something that you can offer to redesign them. You can even do it for free or do it for really cheap, and that's experience that you can put on your resume. So really, my ultimate advice would be to just get as creative as you can. Um, really, think outside the box. Think of ways that are going to make you a unique candidate, something that makes you distinguished and stand out. Because especially for people who are graduating from WGU, you probably don't have that internship experience. You might be transitioning from another career. You don't have like WGU as a super prestigious, well-known university. So it puts you at a disadvantage, especially at a time like this when people from other universities are graduating, right? In June and May. It's like there's a lot of competition right now with all the layoffs, with all the people graduating from the normal brick and mortar universities. There's a lot of competition, so you have to make yourself stand out. And so I hope that this video kind of maybe inspired you or gave you some sort of idea of where to start in creating your resume and starting that job hunt. It's definitely been hard for me. I haven't found the full-time position yet that I've been looking for. I'm hopeful though. I just started this internship, so I'm hoping that that's going to give me the experience that I need in order to get a full-time position that meets my expectations and and works for me. So definitely don't give up if you're searching for a job. Don't give up. There's still hope. The layoffs are slowing down. Um, there's this website that I was looking at that shows the amount of layoffs. So it started slowing down in April and May, and it's continuing to slow down. So that's good news, right? So eventually, the situation is going to get better, and we're going to get jobs. It's a numbers game, so just keep applying, and eventually you're going to get there. So if you found this helpful, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. If you have any comments about this video, please feel free to leave them below. Any suggestions, I'm open to hearing them. I'd love new video ideas or questions. I'll try to get to all of them, and yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next video.